Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I'm recording now part 6. It was my error. I thought I had recorded more than 2 or 3 of Adam's Gang-stalking survival guide. And when I did a search of my videos, I searched for Adam, but I didn't tag Adam in all of the videos, only a few. So this is now part 6 of the Gang-stalker Survival Understanding the Truth Guide by Adam, who was 16 years old at the time of writing this and ended up completing the book at age 18. And then we did an interview with Adam at age 21, which is posted in part 5 in the description section. So here we go. Part 6 of the Gang-stalker Survival Guide, Targeted Individuals. Stay hidden. When the ascended Master Jesus Christ was spreading truth and was being hunted down, the enemy knew that many would begin to wake up and be filled with light. The enemy knew this was a time of war. So there was a great manhunt by the Roman Empire and forces of darkness in order to eliminate all those who were filled with the light and crush every last little seedling of light until there was none left. I tell you this because we are currently in those kinds of times again, so you must hear my message. If you are light and a truth seeker of true light, power, and truth, then you know this. You must stay hidden. Don't let them find you yet. Well, I guess we're all screwed because I guess they found us a long time ago, right? This is the mistake that I made, which is why I'm now currently pinned down by my enemies and surrounded by them on all sides. At the age of just 16, I began my attack by really putting myself out there, speaking truth and trying to become known. I should have laid low until I was financially and spiritually stable and strong enough to begin my attack. And that is the lesson of this section. But because I didn't, they have now found me and caught me while I'm still incapable of making money, buying my own devices, buying privacy software, or buying or using a car, or even applying for most jobs. I tell you now, do not begin your attack until you're at least 18 years old or older and are spiritually and financially stable. Make sure you have a steady and strong earthly foundation before you make yourself known to them and begin your attack. The enemy is currently monitoring all the stores, books, search engines, results, phone calls, texts, online communities, and forums, as well as courses on online stores. They especially watch the Amazon books on white magic and mystical and correct spiritual gnosis, mystical wisdom. Their biggest focus are on the workers of light, the chosen ones. That's right. Their worries aren't on some non-existent war on drugs or crime. They aren't really focused on catching the pedos or the rapists or the scammers or the terrorists. Their biggest worry is you, the people. Their biggest worry has always been keeping the truth hidden from the whole world. And now they're starting to show it by literally sending FBI agents to public school board meetings. Yep, parents at school talking about the CV mandates. The FBI's not focused on any serious crimes. They find threat number 1 to be parents at school board meetings. Yep. They will find you through your IP or delivery address if you are buying books online. They're searching for the last bits of light. The book TOR Darknet series, Master the Art of Invisibility, books 1 through 5, which is a deep web box set. It's amazing for not just the dark web, but just about all privacy and anonymity tactics. And it's great and secondary. Secondly, get the book The Art of Invisibility by Mevin Mitnick. M-E-V-I-N Mitnick. M-I-T-N-I-C-K. These 2 books will give you just about everything you need in order to be truly anonymous and private online. And yes, we have a thunderstorm now. And no, my grass was not cut, so I'm really pissed off. But if you can only afford 1 book, then get the Tor Darknet series. Now, I tried to order it on eBay. And they didn't send me the series. They only sent me one book, and that wasn't really what I wanted. So it's a little difficult to find, and of course, now that I'm mentioning it, all these criminals will buy them all up from you guys. Spoof your MAC address and operating system, then use a burner location with portable Wi-Fi in order to get internet connection on the go. You may also want to use a proxy for extra security. Make sure not to deliver any of the books to your location. And the reason I say to use a proxy is because Tor, T-O-R, breaks most sites when you disable JavaScript. That includes Amazon. Make sure you also pay with a prepaid Amazon gift card or some other prepaid gift card. I can't stress enough how incredibly important it is for you to stay hidden in these times of peril. And you know what? That is a really good idea, Adam. I think I'm going to buy some prepaid gift cards. I think that's a wonderful idea. No, I'm not talking about some non-existent meme virus called the CV. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real and powerful enemy. You must stay hidden and find a dwelling place in order to stock up on knowledge and true, powerful, spiritual, magical wisdom, while simultaneously raising your vibration to the highest you can. Because let me tell you, once they find you and you're not ready, it's pretty much over. Just like it's over for me. Once they find you, they don't let go. And I guess that's what happened to me, because I was a professional astrologer, tarot reader. Maybe that's how they found me too. Okay? So just like a leech that bites, they are hard to remove, and they suck all your blood out, slowly draining you of all of your energy throughout a long period of time. All I have to give you to the world now is my knowledge before I pass. Please, don't listen to the fools. You must protect yourself and stay hidden until we can find a way to defeat the gang-stalkers and protect ourselves from their directed energy weapons and black magic. If you aren't already prepared for that, once you find out that secret, you may come out of hiding and charge into war. Make sure you're at least 18 years old or older and have a stable financial and physical living before begging your information attacks and light working to help save the world. This is all for this section. He gave some helpful resources here. Now, some of these links are no longer workable, so I will show them to you. I am not going to post these links in the description section, okay? So let me show you. These are EMF detection tools, counter surveillance recordings, and measurements. This is a great post for targeted resistances that offer you tools that may help. I will copy a helpful part of it and paste it here. And this is his equipment inventory. So if you want to look this up, it would be a good idea to pause the video right now and jot these down. Adam has also provided me a URL to go directly to his gang stalking manual. So then there are some groups, and again, this is a couple of years old. I don't know if these groups are still available on Reddit. Then there's Quora, and I have a Quora group, by the way, Quora page. My Quora page is Learning and Research for Targeted Individuals. On Quora, there's gangstalkingworldwide.quora.com. Quora has groups on its website, a lot like subreddits, called Spaces. Just use its search bar and search up gang stalking terms in order to easily find more spaces. I guess my space is called Learning and Research for Targeted Individuals. There is much more free and open than on Reddit. Here's the main spaces on Quora for gang stalking. Let me show you. And then Meetup is a site and also an app that can be used in order to get in contact, talk about gang stalking, and meet up with other TIs. It's just a site to meet up with people online or physically, not to be confused with a dating app. Then, of course, there's Facebook. Well, this one is, well, quite garbage considering it's Facebook with all the spyware and censorship. And it's already been infiltrated by the dark forces. Yes, it has. Maybe some other mainstream social media, but it's all pretty bad. Then, of course, there's DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is not a group or forum, but it's absolutely great compared to Google on finding more reliable information, groups, forums, websites, and other sources of information. Yahoo could also be used, and it's okay, but pretty much like Google. So now, these are 3 odd story experiences. And you know what? Come to think of it, I think I did mention some of these experiences of his. So anyway, story number 1. The man in the white truck. A real encounter with an undercover glowy. Let me tell you a couple of very significant stories that happened to me about a year ago when I was 16 or in my early 17s. I was extremely healthy and fit. I worked incredibly hard every single day in order to use my strength to save the world. At this time, I was not aware of the enemy. Well, at least not to the extent that I am now. Anyways, I always went for a run on this long, straight sidewalk on the same road every single day. Once again, remember, I was very fit. Even in the days that it would rain, I would still run. Then one day, while I was on my daily run again, I was walking because I just ran and was in my cool down period. While I was walking, a white pickup truck pulled up next to me. Doesn't that sound familiar? Well, he was actually slowly driving the pace I was walking. I noticed, but I ignored him. Then he slowly rolled down his window and he said, "Hey, boy," in a loud, projected but friendly voice. I turned and saw his face, which I will describe to the best of my memory. He was a big white man, one of those pretty fit ones, and he had big forearms. He was wearing black sunglasses, and I believe he had a medium-sized brown beard. An average-looking, all-American, Trump-loving white guy would be the best sentence, and that's not an insult. Then with his all-American redneck voice, he yelled to me again, "Hey, boy," once more in a friendly manner. I then looked at him and I said, "What's up?" He then asked me, "Why you always running?" I then said, "I just do it to stay fit." He responded, "Well, because I always see you running out here all the time. You trying to join the military?" And that was a serious question, not a compliment, to clarify. I then laughed and replied, Nah, I just do it for fun. I just do it to stay fit." We were yelling because of the sound of the cars passing by, making it harder to hear each other. And then he said, all right. You have a good one, bud." I then smiled and said, "Okay, you too." Now, some time passed and the gang-stalking started to ruin my life. Fast forward about a year, where I'm currently writing this book document, literally today, as I'm writing this book, I took a break. I went onto Reddit and saw this Photoshop picture of Babylon agents in a school as a joking reference to how Biden was sending FBI agents to school board meetings. Here you go. I then put my phone away and started to walk in circles like any normal schizo does. Then all of a sudden it hit me. It was an agent. He was testing me to see if I would use my ambition and power in order to join the military, also known as the Antichrist Army. This was the day the Antichrist tested to see if I was based or not. If I said yes, then I would have become an agent and my enemy would know that I am a corn syrup drinking fag. But if I said no, then they would give me the CIA FBI thumbs up in order to begin gang-stalking me because I'm a base red pill schizo. And that's why I said no. And all this time while I was running in the past, they have been watching me, studying me, stalking me to see the moment of truth. All this time, Those cars that were honking at me while I was running weren't average people trying to motivate me. They were gang stalkers all along. Even another day, some time after that incident, another all-American looking redneck pulled up next to me and my brother while I was walking home after buying some milk. And he asked me, "Not running today, buddy?" And I laughed and said, "Nah, not today, just buying some milk." He then said, all right, you have a good one." Then rolled up his window and drove off. It was another glowy-ass perp. He wanted to know how my health was doing after being gang-stalked for a little while. It was a checkup. Oh, how interesting. Now, the story gets more interesting. One day, my mother wanted to let some doctors take my blood in order to, quote-unquote, test my health or something. In my opinion, stupid-ass corn syrup drinking derpinia bitch-ass mother. LOL. Oh my goodness. Anyways, my inner voice was screaming not to let them take my blood. It was clearly a trap. An idea planted in my mother's mind by the Antichrist. They wanted my life force energy in my blood, and I would be terribly weakened if they got my blood. Combined with getting RAPD to ejaculation and their directed energy attacks also causing me to have lack of sleep, I would be terrible if I let them take my blood. I talked and talked to convince her to not do this, but she would not listen to me. So we pulled up to the little hospital. My mother filled out the application and we sat in a small waiting room lounge. My body was shaking because I could hear my inner voice crying not to go through with this. I would not allow this. So I planned that I would run the second lead nurse bitch calls my name. After some time of sitting in a premeditation of my plan, the door opens and lead nurse bitch with her face diaper called my name. My mother then asked if she wanted me to come, and I said, quote unquote, yes, because I wanted her to walk in the door where Le Nurse bitch was standing so that when I ran, she would not see, thus buying me more time. But she only stood in front of the nurse, then waited for me to go in. Come on, Adam, she said. So then I slowly stood up, feeling the butterflies in my stomach. Then I bolted out of the hospital, through the front door, and dipped da hell out of there like a boss. I kept running and running, and ran down an alleyway corner into an empty road. Then all of a sudden, that's right, another white pickup truck quickly pulls up around the corner and begins to follow me. Somehow my mother then quickly came after the truck and pulled beside me and rolled down her window and began to yell their brainwashed nagging bitch stuff. Obviously none of which I listened to. I was focused on the white truck right next to me. The odd thing was that it didn't drive by when I gave it a space to do so. It just literally parked right next to us, and guess what? While I kept walking away from my mom's car, the white truck would also slowly follow me as I walked. I then got into my mom's lay car and we drove home as she continued her lay bitch nagging again, none of which I listened to again. I just silently sat in the back of the car staring out the back window as the white truck followed us back halfway home. Long story short, my mom decided to not get my blood sucked by lay nurse bitch. Good ending. Story number 2, the bee. Now, this final story I will share with you, and I'm sure many of you will not believe. I'll make it pretty short. About a year ago, once again, while I was sitting in the front of one of my family members' houses, there was a bee floating with its wings, of course, about 3 to 5 feet above me. It was just floating in place and staring at me. I'm sorry for laughing, guys. I had the same bee visited me today. It was outside my kitchen window for hours. I kid you not. I was like, here comes, it's DARPA. It's a DARPA bee stalking me. So there was a bee floating with its wings, of course, 3 to 5 feet above me. It was just floating in place staring at me, and something really weird was going on. Whenever another insect got close to the bee that was watching me, it would immediately chase it away. I watched this for about 30 whole minutes, and even while it was not attacking insects sometime, it would fly a bit closer to me and begin to follow me around. Whenever I tried to get close, it flew further. Whenever I tried to get further, it flew closer. This lasted for about a week and even followed me all the way back to my house. I have to add here, guys, I have witnessed this. I have witnessed these bugs following me. I've even called them out, DARPA, and when I went to get the fly swatter, they would just magically disappear. I could not catch the damn thing. Just like I couldn't catch the damn bug that was hiding out under the closet door in my house at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey. And I've mentioned this so many times before. Yes, they plant these bugs. These are little drone bugs, okay? And yes, the technology exists. While I was working out one day, I saw it again. I just stood there and kept watching me. So I stood there and I stared back at it, but it literally did nothing else. It just kept watching me. So I then picked up a rock and got the brilliant idea. I turned around and let it get a bit closer, then walked away from it just a bit. Then I just stood there a bit, and then it was just close enough. I quickly turned around and threw the rock at it like a boss, but then it easily dodged the rock, but also did something peculiar. Right after it dodged the rock, it chased it for a couple of seconds while it was still in midair, and then went straight back to watching me. I then threw a little pebble past it, and it reached the same way over and over. It chased it for a split second, but then just stopped and went back to watching me. It was odd, but I just decided to ignore it until one day I just never saw it again. Now I will tell you my last story of the pigeon, which I believe was even farther back in the past. Story number 3, the pigeon. And I think I've read this story before, but I'm reading it again. One day, a pigeon flew into our backyard on our bird feeder, and the odd thing was that it would let us get really close, but usually never close enough to finally touch it. It stayed for like the next 4 days, so me and my dad, made a little house for it and actually liked it. Then one day my dad got close enough to feed it and even barely touch it. Then, after about a week later, it never came back. Fucking Antichrist CIA pigeons. These are not my words, by the way. This is for educational purposes only. These are not my words. CIA pigeons. Only just today, while writing this, I have put all the pieces together and realized they have been watching me since the second I was born, like a dragon standing before my birthing mother, ready to devour me the second I was conceived into this world. But the Lord said no, and so did I. The key of gang-stalking. I figured it out. Pay attention. This part is important, for I will give you the 2 keys. Sin. Any internal or external action you do that darkens your soul, lowers your vibrations, or puts bad vibrations out into the world, and thus weakens your connection to the higher divine lights. It can be a thought, a feeling, a physical actions. All of these are actions. It can be a sin against yourself, the world, or both. You punish yourself by sin, not God. God does not punish. He's pure love. God only assists when he's called upon and does not assist much when he's not. Now, at this point, surely you would be asking yourself, why do they waste all this time and money? Why don't they just unalive you? Why? They can't unalive you, is my second message. Firstly, because they can't unalive you. You're divinely protected as long as you continue to walk in the path of light, which is the path of wisdom and love and the Spirit. As long as you try your best to do good and vibrate high, for we are the sons and daughters of God that carry the divine spark, the divine particles within our DNA. You are promised protection, guidance, and to be provided for. Now, you might say, but they're tormenting me. They're hurting me with their directed energy weapons. They're hurting my health. They're frying my brain. I will tell you why this is so. Because of the law of free will. You see, The universal authorities of light beings, archangels, galactic federations of light, prime creator, source mind, will allow these satanic beings to carry out their plans out of respect for all creatures' free will in order to keep the balance, but will never allow these beings to fulfill their plans. They will never allow these beings to succeed in their plans to take over and destroy the world. This is why humanity has been under this stealth negative ET invasion for so many years. This is why they're gang-stalking you rather than unaliving you. Because they are allowed to try to stop you, but they will never be able to unless you voluntarily allow them, because God will not allow it. The gang-stalking agenda is just a wildly desperate attempt to stop something they know cannot be stopped, which is the great awakening and ascension of the planet Earth. But they try anyway. Now think about this. The U.S. government, the CI motherfucking A. These are Adam's words now. Remember, he's a teenager here. He has a right to curse. Like the U.S. government and the CI mother effing A, the world's most intelligent, super powerful and wealthy government agency with practically infinite resources capable of even making the most famous and powerful people disappear without much of a peep, have not unalived you yet. In 1992, around 801,000 people went missing. In 1993, 860,000 people went missing. In 1997, more than 980,000 people went missing. This cabal has an entire army and miles of weaponry. They have highly trained agents and Marines and SEAL teams, sick soldiers. They have poisons that can unalive you, yet not show up in any autopsy. Every year, at least more than 500,000 people go missing. And so, of course, if anything happened to you, you'd be nothing more than another number on those statistics. So you know, if they could unalive you, they would have. And despite all this, despite the fact that they're already currently on you, you're still alive. Think about that. Trust me, if unaliving you would give them an advantage, then they would have already done it, and they would have already taken over the world by now. But I found out that the universe would absolutely never put you in a situation or challenge that you cannot overcome. It's the divine law. It is the same law that guided Jesus until his passing, when the enemy first overstepped that law. So, the only way the enemy can quote-unquote fight back is through deception, manipulation, and weak electromagnetic attacks. Black magic cannot work against he who is filled with wisdom and light. High vibrational. Electromagnetic energy weapons are the strongest thing that the enemy could possibly use against you, for it is right in between interacting and not interacting with you, thus minimizing their negative karma and interference with your free will. But I say, do not be fooled, for they are still building up their negative karma and making the fires of hell hotter the more torment they bring upon the world and its inhabitants. They are only fooling themselves, for nothing is hidden from the all-seeing eye of the prime creator, and none of their abominable crimes against creation will go unaccounted for. So be it, and so it is. Amen. All you have to do is walk with faith, and no man, no woman, no demon, no beast, no tempest will be able to prevail against you. None at all. Pray and meditate every day for the Holy Spirit to break your shackles and set you free from this energetic bondage. You may buy a book on the Psalms, prayers, for the vibrational power within them is good. I recommend the book Power of Psalms. Even if you cannot buy it, you can download it for free on zlib.org. Actually, it's not there anymore. Or even search certain Psalms online. I recommend the book, for it has prayers of protection, deliverance from enemies, and to destroy enemies and all those who work against you, prosperity and money, and much, much more. I recommend Psalms 44 to be rescued from an intolerable situation, as well as Psalm 5 to promote spiritual growth. And yes, you may mostly pray your own prayers. Then there is the divine law of proportionality. This is an important one. In summary, the divine law of proportionality states that the universe will never put you through a hardship or situation of which you cannot overcome. Now, maybe you may be put in a situation in which you cannot immediately overcome or directly solve. You may be in a situation in which all you can do is pray, meditate, and have faith. And even that will be enough if that is the lesson of the hardship. Either way, sooner or later, there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. It is an unfailing law and one of my most favorite. Remember that the divine laws are assured as the very laws of physics themselves, maybe even more. You are invulnerable. Yes, you heard me right. You are literally invincible. Due to the law of oneness and law of attraction, it is possible to manifest into your life something that does not vibrate in synchronicity with you unless you are on a heroic path that choose to dive into darkness to help others or the universe put you through that darkness so that you may learn a lesson. Your soul, which is the real you, has chosen to live through this horrendous monstrosity of a life as a targeted individual because you are on a special path, a special mission, because you're different. Because we are the system busters and way showers. But sadly, most have forgotten their true nature and soul's divine mission and have lost themselves within darkness. But not me. Back to the divine laws. Watch this video and you'll understand. You are invulnerable, baby. You are the Son of God. So I think this is a link. As long as you continue to choose the light and vibrate high to the best of your ability and walk the righteous path of spirit, nothing can possibly come your way other than exactly what is meant to. If you are light, no darkness can truly ever step upon you. For we are the sons and daughters of God. Do not get the unworthiness syndrome, for truly you are perfect. You are worthy of all the world's love, protection, abundance, and blessings. Now, for the law of proportionality, I will explain it in more depth so you can learn how to utilize it in your life for external divine protection. Now, you may be asking yourself, when should I just have faith and rely on my angels when I do a dangerous heroic act like expose government corruption, deep state evil and corruptions? And when should I take action and do my own proper precaution in order to protect myself? Can I just do whatever heroic act I want and just have faith and expect everything to be fine because the universe and my angels will take care of it all? And my answer is always the same. Because of the divine law of proportionality, this law has always kept me safe, and I use it every day for my heroic operations of light. Now, the answer is, it depends. It depends on two main things: the danger level of what you're doing and the only accessible tools at your disposal. For this example, let's assume you're doing something good. If you have the ability to protect yourself and you're doing something dangerous, then protect yourself with all your knowledge and tools. If what you're doing isn't very dangerous, but it's good, and you simply don't have the knowledge and tools to protect yourself, then this is when your angels must come in to defend you when you cannot defend yourself. You must just keep walking forward in faith. If you're doing something good that isn't that dangerous, then just stay low-key and spread the light with faith, and you'll be safe. You don't have to be too cautious. In summary, if you can protect yourself in a dangerous situation, then do. If you can't, then you must try your best and let God do the rest. But either way, stay low-key and move slowly. Always burn with the fire of love and faith and do good, and you will be protected. Ultimately, the best protection you can have is divine protection. God will never just do anything for you that you can simply do yourself. If you don't have any other options, then that's when they, your angels, the universe, God, will assist and protect you. For example, an example of self-protection when possible. The great example would be Edward Snowden, who leaked the NSA documents. He had a plethora of privacy and anonymity information and tools. So he utilized all his assets to protect himself when he leaked the documents. That is a perfect example of protection of self when possible. Example of divine protection when needed. Now, a perfect example of divine protection when no physical assets are available would be the story of Moses. He went up against an entire empire and king. He didn't have any other way to save the people other than to walk right up into the empire and be in direct contact with everyone without any physical protection. Even if he did have a sword, that wouldn't have done much. After he freed the people and walked for a while away from the empire, the king's army were charging at him and his followers, while next to the Red Sea they were all helpless. The army was going to slaughter him and his people, and there was nothing they could do by their own power. So then, the universe struck down a tornado of fire to cut off his attackers long enough for Moses to split the Red Sea open with God's power so that he and his followers could cross. This is my answer in the key to divine proportionality. The unaliving paradox. You win either way. Listen closely, for this is the second key. If they unalive you, then they bless you with martyrdom. But if you voluntarily sin, like you do something really bad to lower your vibrations yourself, then you allow them to win. You must realize we are not fighting for victory. We are fighting from a point of victory. Because when you're on God's universal side, you already win. Simply by never giving up, you win. You're already victorious, for God's power is infinite. Your soul's power is infinite. So, you see, what they need to do is get you to sin yourself. Destroy your reputation, most likely with some false allegations. Then finally get you to unalive yourself, or get you homeless, or disable you in any other way, shape, or form. This is the only way they can partly win. But even then, you will still be given a good reward for what you have endured. But the only way they can mostly win is by completely getting you to lose your connection with your own spirit and the spirit of God light. This can only be done voluntarily by you. Remember, the enemy can never truly force you to do anything, nor can they do anything that you will weaken, hurt, or destroy your connection to the Holy Spirit. Everything they do is a hack, and only by your own vulnerability can they exploit. Everything they do is an offer, and by voluntarily accepting the offer, can you lose? You can only lose if you choose to voluntarily lose, but they can never directly hurt your spirit, consciousness, karma, or connection with the source energy mind. This is the great secret of invincibility. By this knowledge, I have been able to survive anything the enemy has thrown at me, despite the fact that I have lost everything except my soul. And here's the secret. Let them unalive you. Let them torment you. Open your arms widely before, and then say, "Bless me with martyrdom." And fully embrace death fearlessly. I'm not saying to just give up and die. No. What I'm saying is that we are a paradox that they cannot beat. No matter what we do, as long as we don't give in, they fail. Don't unalive yourself. Don't let them unalive you. They have to be the one to do it so that the prophecy can take hold. It will be our great sacrifice. Oh, enemy, come at me with your torture devices and steal and thrash me. Bless me with martyrdom and send me straight to heaven. I have become completely selfless and fearless, for we are not fighting for victory. We are fighting from a point of victory because of the paradox. Every single day that you choose not to give up is another victory for us and another defeat for them. Oh, listen to me now. For I tell you, let them come and unalive you themselves, for they will only wait till the very last second to do so, when they have no choice but to silence us. Or they may not even have the power to do it at all. For I say now that we are in infinity. We have become invisible, indestructible, unshakable. For I have become selfless. Ever since they overstepped God's law and murdered Jesus Christ, they suffered a terrible blow that lasted for thousands of years, not only because of the earthquake, but because they only increased the blessings and reward of Jesus Christ and also worsened their own karma and fate the more they tormented him. Unaliving Jesus Christ has a paradoxical effect that no matter what the Roman Empire did, they would still lose. Because if they let Jesus live, then he would have just woken up the entire world. Then he wins. But if they unalive Jesus, then they would simply suffer the blow of their own bad karma and increase the good karma of Jesus Christ and allow him to gain more power and blessings from the beings of light that were watching him. Plus, when they persecuted and murdered him publicly, they only made him more famous and allowed his words to be known by more people, which I'm pretty sure is the exact opposite of what they wanted. They would also just turn him into a martyr and saint, thus giving him a more selfless and heroic image. So you see, if you unalive somebody in an attempt to silence them, then what you get is the exact opposite effect. You only make their message louder and also prove them right. The more you try to hide something, the more obvious it gets. The more you try to silence someone, the more they seem right and the more you seem evil. Whenever the evil ones kill someone good, they actually turn themselves into an image, a symbol of God, a god. Whenever the bad guys begin to lose fair and square, they always resort to cheating, force, violence, more pitiful ways of victory. If they cannot win through civil peace, they will win through barbaric war. They turn their victims into a saint and bless them with martyrdom if they unalive them. And we know the most blessed and pedestalized believers are the ones who are unalive for their faith. Martyrdom is a blessing and a promotion. You see, when they unalive you, they lose and you win. They may be hurting us with directed energy, but they will only bruise our heel, but we shall crush their heads. And I just skipped forward. But, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. But you should know this, which is even better information. The more light that someone is filled with, that the dark forces unalive, the greater and more severe the punishment they will receive. Just as the worse somebody's crimes, the worse sentence they will receive. And they know this, which is why they spend so much time and money in order to indirectly influence you. Oops, I just scrolled too fast. Indirectly influence you. Wait, it just... Oh, goodness gracious. It just, oh, here it is. Indirectly influence you towards darkness because they know of the fatal consequences they will receive if they lay a finger on you, God's child. But you may be thinking that they're still hurting you and they still must receive karma for this. And you're right. Nobody and nothing in the entire universe can outsmart or break the universal laws, for they are as omnipotent and universally present as God himself. They are indeed receiving terrible karma every passing day for their unspeakable crimes and evil, and are currently being persecuted and destroyed by higher forces of light that dwell in the cosmos and higher subtle planes. And when they die, their reincarnation will not be fun. They're desperate fools that think if they tell you what they do through subliminal messages or hurt you in a less directed way, then they can somehow avoid their karma, but they cannot. Now, here's the great paradox, which is also defending you. If they let you live, then you'll wake up the whole world, and then you still win. But if they unalive you, your good karma and blessings would skyrocket, and you will be taken into the martyr's temple in heaven, or just reincarnate with more wisdom, powers, and blessings, thus only making you more bright and powerful, thus highly increasing your chances of defeating the enemy in your next reincarnation, and you still win. So, how could they possibly defeat you? Answer: they can't. This is why they're keeping you alive and trying to get you to commit sin by your own accord. So tell me, what is the very last thing, the only other thing that can defeat you? Well, it's you. This is the secret they found out and will utilize this truth against you. But unluckily for them, I have also found out this truth, and here's how it works. We all know committing sin, or just doing anything cruel or evil in general, darkens your soul. Your EMF weakens your connection with God. It gives you bad karma. And when you sin, the enemy wins. Nobody in the entire world can make you sin. And unaliving you in an attempt to make you sin would only greatly bless you and curse the enemy according to divine law. So you see, what the enemy has to do is to make you voluntarily commit sin on your own accord. The devil is truly powerless, which is why he needs you to be the one that chooses to commit the sin. This is why you never take your own life, even if they subliminally tell you to do so. Just like what Satan tried to do to Jesus in the desert for 40 days. If they unalive you, you become a martyr and a saint. But if you kill yourself, you become pitiful and sad. They want you to get mad and frustrated or depressed and unalive someone, or just do bad things in general. Or they are trying to get you to unalive yourself. And then when you unalive yourself, you defeat yourself and they win. They will work hours upon hours and years upon years, pinching and poking at you from 100 feet away to get on your nerves. They will use every last bit of their strength to do every single thing that can possibly order to influence your thoughts and behavior and get you to commit sin. Do something terrible or hurt yourself or others. When you sin, they win. So anyway, I'm going to end here because this is a longer chapter than I expected, and it's a little late here. It's raining. I've got to get my birdies in, my animals and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this part 6. I think this is part 6 of Adam's Gang-stalking Survival Guide, Understanding the Truth. And please leave a comment down below. I look forward to questions and comments, and I'm signing off for now.